All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dollar Beer Night Mini. You fucking asshole. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dollar Beer Night Mini episode number 1. This is the Sonic the Hedgehog cast. That's right. It's finally happening. I'll be your host for this mini episode this week. My name is Zach Rotello, at Zach Rotello on Twitter, and sitting in the driver's seat is Kevin Carter. What's up, man?
Not much.
Oh, we saw Sonic, everybody.
We saw Sonic. Dillon is wheezing.
and then wheezing in the back seat is Dillon Hayden.
What's up?
All right, first and foremost, I think before we do anything else, we have to have a little post-mortem here for our dearly departed Tommy Becerra.
Yeah, he's not dead. He just couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah.
Tommy, you missed a good one. It doesn't feel right without you sitting in my car and recording a podcast.
Not at all. Tommy, you're sorely missed, and believe you me, we will have some sort of drunk podcast about this someday.
For sure.
Someday in the future. We don't know when in the near future, but that's right, everybody. We're talking Sonic the Hedgehog. This is Dollar Beer Night, at Dollar Beer Pod on Twitter, Dollar Beer Night Show at gmail.com if you want to send us questions, comments, and concerns, or dollarbeernight.com if you want a feed of all of our podcasts. This is if you're joining us on this week, God bless your soul.
Yeah.
Typically, this is a conversational podcast where we take each person in the table brings a topic to the table week at a time where they host, and we have good discussions. This week is not necessarily going to be that, because this week we are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. That's right.
It's something we've been promising since our inception.
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe before that. Like, hey, let's go get drunk and see Sonic.
We definitely were talking about it on your original podcast still. So.
Yeah. So this has been long in the tank, and despite schedule mishaps and mix-ups and dates and times and unavailability, here we are, almost a month after it came out to theaters. Yeah. Here we are seeing it. I'm just going to kick you off with a little bit of info right at the get-go.
Yeah.
You got Sonic the Hedgehog released in 2020 released on February 14th, 2020, with a worldwide box office so far of $265 million and a budget of about $128 million.
That includes the remake, like the redoing things?
Everything all together, it looks like the budget is about $128 million.
So they doubled up.
Yeah. It is the biggest top based on video game weekend domestic. It still hasn't beat Pokemon as far as I know. That's the basic facts there. Sonic the Hedgehog. Before we get into specific, details about the movie, Dillon, what did you think about Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, we need to start with
just your brief, tell us what you thought.
I thought the storyline was okay, but having Jim Carrey back, making those faces, everything about Jim Carrey just made me laugh. And
we could hear.
Yeah. It might have been annoying to everyone else in the theater,
no.
But I was just, from the second he came in, he had like his chin down.
Yeah.
And he was like making his Grinch face almost.
Yeah.
It had me laughing the whole time. Him as an evil villain, just like having, I'm pretty sure the director was like, hey, just do whatever you want. Go in there and just be Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Be Ace Ventura Jim Carrey. Be Grinch Jim Carrey. Do whatever you want. And I was in for it. Dude, I was laughing. I was almost annoying. At one point, I turned to you and I said, are you laughing as much as I am? I said something like along the lines of that. I don't know. I grew up on Jim Carrey, so seeing in 2020, it was like seeing Jim Carrey like that, just like it tickled me.
Yeah. At one point during the movie, Dillon leaned over to me and he goes, please tell me you like Jim Carrey as much as I do.
I heard that.
And I was like, well,
Man.
I can tell why he likes this film.
Yeah.
Kevin, what did you think of Sonic the Hedgehog?
I told Dylan on the way out, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was a good kids movie with some decent acting, a good heartfelt story, some jokes that landed, some jokes that didn't land,
boy.
some jokes that missed big time.
Oh my God.
But it was good. It wasn't a shit show like I expected it to be.
Right.
The post-credit scene was cool. But yeah, other than that, there is a post-credit scene spoiler.
Yeah, this podcast is going to be full spoilers after we dive into our initial thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I mean, it was worth the what $10 I paid for the price of admission.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fine. If you grew up with Sonic, it's something you should probably see, whether as a joke or if you legitimately just want to see. If you have kids, it'd be a good movie to take your kids to and enjoy while you're watching it with your kids. So.
Sure. I thought it was decent. After the 64% Rotten Tomatoes score and like all the positive buzz that the movie had gotten post-release, I was like, okay, this is going to be an actually decent movie. Because at the very beginning, if you all remember, it feels like such a long time ago, but we were talking about seeing this movie as in like we're going to laugh so much because it's going to be so bad.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It's a movie that you could go see in the theaters and like make joking. It's like a Room. You wanted to hope it was going to be like The Room, where you make fun of it. That's the whole point of the movie, is that you're laughing at the movie, not necessarily with the movie. So after the movie got a positive tomato score and a lot of positive critic things, I was like, we had talked about it. We were like, this is actually going to be a legitimately good movie.
Yeah.
I don't think this was a legitimately good movie.
No, I don't think it was either.
I think this movie was pretty dumb and really poorly written. And as we'll dive into with like some of the little things in the movie, there were many moments where I found myself shaking my head in disbelief at what I was seeing.
Physically smacked my forehead a couple times.
Yeah, I facepalmed at one point for sure. And like, there's some horrendous product placement, some awful comedy that just falls completely flat. I think that some of the performances are pretty decent. I actually thought James Marsden was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he carried the movie as the human lead.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Sonic's voice actor was fine.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz is good.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't give him much to do though.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like comedically, they don't give Sonic a whole lot of shit to do. I thought it was very fascinating. Like the movie is about Sonic, but Sonic barely does. He doesn't do a whole lot in the movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Like all right, full spoilers. We're jumping into spoilers here. Kevin, would you recommend people see the movie?
If you have kids and or you are with a group of friends that have a podcast and you've been promising people you would see it, that would be the only people I would recommend go see this. If you grew up with Sonic and you have kids, go see it. Sure.
Okay. Dillon, would you recommend people see this movie?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I would not recommend you see this in the theater. Maybe hold out for DVD.
Wait for it to stream.
It'll be on a streaming device eventually.
Soon, probably.
I don't know if this is... I mean, if you're a Sonic fan, and like Kevin said, if you have a podcast with a few friends that you want to do a thing about this for, sure, go see it in theaters. But I had fun seeing it. I guess that's the only thing I can say, but I definitely wouldn't see this on my own time.
I'm not going to watch it again.
Right. Full spoilers.
That being said, I will go see the sequel because now I feel invested.
I agree. I think that, obviously we could dive into it, but we don't have all the information. This movie was marred with early controversy with the early trailer, the first design of Sonic, the redesign, the closing of the animation studio. This movie had a shit trail of bad press leading up to the film's release. I, for one, kind of wish that the original Sonic design was still in it, because I think it would have made it funnier.
Yeah, because what it is now is it's just an okay movie that doesn't really do anything for me. If it looked so bad that it was comical, then it would have some actual value to it.
Yeah, if it was like Cats.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have no desire to see Cats.
No, me neither.
But it would have had to have been like, I just don't think Cats looked bad enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
That and the original Sonic was a fever dream.
It was
an absolute nightmare to look at.
But I mean, like, the whole movie, it's so funny, like, watching the movie, because there's shots of him, like, in the washing machine, like, running, and then, like, there's specific shots of, like, him in the world, and I was thinking the whole time, I was like, I can't even imagine Monster Sonic from the original trailer fitting into this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, I mean, like, I've had the theory of the conspiracy and running through my head for the last few months, but it's like, after seeing the movie, I think that more than ever, it could have been so easy for them to just put out a horrifying rendition of Sonic in the first trailer, while the whole time making this actual one.
Yeah, I always thought there was definitely multiple assets, and I think there might have been a true effort to put out the worst version of it to drum up support or I hope this was the case, that it was just a really smart marketing campaign.
Any press is good press,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
and where they were just going to let Reddit run wild with it, and
they did.
Yeah, and they did, and now that's the reason we went to see it tonight. Because otherwise, I probably wouldn't have wanted to see it at all. To be honest with you, I wouldn't have cared if they just moved forward with it. Everybody would have made their jokes. The memes would have died down by now, and yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I hope it was good marketing and it wasn't truly just shitty planning. But
yeah. Well, right now, Sonic the Hedgehog sits at a 64% critic recommendation on Rotten Tomatoes and a 93% audience recommendation. I don't know about either of those. I think I would settle around like a 5 out of 10 for this. I think 50% of this movie is okay, and the other 50% is bad Olive Garden puns.
Oh, God.
Wow, yeah. I guess you could talk about that for days, like the Olive Garden stuff and the Zillow.
That Zillow ad.
That was the worst.
Wow.
Holy
That was the
fucking
worst thing
shit.
ever. So
I've never seen anything so blatant in my life.
The worst.
Oh, and I think I'd almost rather prefer it that way. Because it's like they're not trying to hide it. It's like, we're not being sneaky. Here's a screen. It looked so bad because it wasn't even. It was
a literal screenshot.
It was a JPEG that they photoshopped onto.
That was bad.
Oh,
Dude,
it was bad.
Dude, the best product placement is the stuff you don't even see.
Yeah.
Or you don't even recognize,
You're
right? She literally says, "It's this great place I found on Zillow," and they take a shot to it, and we all laughed and lost our minds.
God.
And
It was like $4,000 a month for an apartment,
which is probably cheap for San Francisco.
for San Francisco.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that was in a major motion picture in
dude.
2020.
It was so shameless.
Ridiculous. I wrote at the very beginning, my first note while I took a few notes while the movie was happening, because I was like, I don't want to forget anything. The movie moves at a clip.
It's a quick kids film. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like plot point to plot point to plot point. There's no real like lingering on any sort of theme. We're taking out a park real quick. But the first note I wrote on is the backstory is interesting.
Yeah, I would like to have seen a whole movie of that like their initial
Yeah.
world. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, because it starts off on what you can only imagine is like Emerald Island.
Emerald Hill Zone. Or
yeah,
whatever.
right. And Sonic is like a little baby Sonic, which was pretty cute.
Yeah.
And he's got this whole family of like mutant owl creatures that takes care of him. And then there's like these ninja owls that are assassinating the lead owl.
Well, I think that was like Knuckles' tribe.
You think they were
Okay.
echidnas?
Yeah, I think it was echidnas because they
Interesting.
looked like in the little like we can go back and break down the film, but I think it was echidnas because
that would make sense.
because they've in the lore of Sonic, like his tribe like protects the Chaos Emerald, which is the ultimate power in the world, and Sonic is a threat to that and all that blah blah blah.
Right.
So I think that's probably what it was. But I would have preferred to see that plot line play out rather than the buddy story with a goofy white guy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no Chaos Emeralds in the whole movie. I was kind of shocked.
I thought he was going to go supersonic at the end without
thought
Chaos
so, too.
Emeralds, and I'm glad he didn't because that would have been stupid.
Well, I'm hoping that Sonic 2 is like the Empire Strikes Back of this
Yeah.
franchise, where they end up just going full hog. But
Yeah.
what were you going to say, Dillon?
I was gonna say you laughed out loud to the owl's advice at the beginning. Remember that?
Remind me what she said. She was like, "Never stop running" or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what she
yeah,
said.
something
That's
like that.
As funny as I get it.
She's like, "Don't forget Sonic," and you're like, "Ah!"
It was just so well. I couldn't believe what I was seeing because it was like an anime.
Yeah,
It was.
what Kevin said, it was like a fever dream. The very beginning
the
sequence.
the beginning was like just a really over dramatic animated movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it didn't fit with anything else. Like this weird, wacky place, these characters, these creatures you don't see, and you never see any of that shit for the rest of the
Never
fucking movie.
brought up once.
Never brought up ever
I think-
again.
I think like in the design room, they were like, "Hey, you know what really works? Finding Nemo, Lion King. You know what they all have in common? The parent dies in the beginning.
Right.
Let's go for it.
Right.
Let's
I
kill
can see that,
Let's
yeah.
kill the parental figure in the beginning."
And it's kind of, I mean, it's like, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
the drama is okay at the beginning. Like,
fine, yeah.
the ring slowly closing as he, like, can't get to it. I thought that a lot of the Sonic drama at the very beginning, like, with him, like, wrestling with this inner turmoil was actually kind of an interesting way to go with the character because, you know, it's not really very interesting taking this really cool character and putting them in a human world, but making them feel human emotions because of that is kind of an interesting writing decision.
Yeah.
So I liked that. And I'm going to say it right out the gate. I thought the bucket list thing was like the most endearing thing about the movie. The fact that these two characters shared like an idea of like, oh, they're both going through this story because they have things that they want to do in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And
they haven't been able to do until this point.
Right, exactly. And they kind of need each other to take that stepping off point. That's kind of an interesting and very, it's a simple to grasp for kids and for adults, you know, simple for easy adults as like a good, engaging, dramatic part of the storyline. So I didn't think that was all bad. But yeah, the Jim Carrey intro. You said you were
from the second,
you're high on Jim Carrey there.
From the second he came onto the screen, like I told Kev he like stuck his chin out, and it almost, I don't know who it reminded me of, but one of his Infinite characters. It just like it made me crack up the way he was coming on. He almost came onto the screen as Ace Ventura. Would you say?
Yeah, I did that in Fire Marshal Bill. That's why I got a lot of Fire Marshal Bill from this performance, which is one of my favorite Jim Carrey characters. So he's definitely a highlight of the film for me. He's just, this feels like, I don't like serious weird painter Jim Carrey. I like Ace Ventura the Mask Jim Carrey. And this felt like Renaissance Jim Carrey almost.
Yeah, it felt like a reinvigorating of Jim Carrey because maybe Bruce Almighty was the last time, and that was 2004.
Yeah,
maybe the last time we had like comedy Jim Carrey. It was. I thought it was a lot of fun. Just, I knew he was going to be funny in that movie. I just did not. I didn't do a lot of research into this movie, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I thought his comedy was good for the most part. I think that the scenes that they give him that are elongated are better.
Yeah.
When they cut him down into short snippets where they actually try to make him like serious or menacing, that's when it gets like a little bit like unbelievable. But that whole entire scene where it's like the dance montage inside of his like Robotech thing.
Yeah.
Dylan is just like cackling next to me. And I think that might have enhanced the comedy of the film.
Yeah, for sure.
But that I thought was good in classic Jim Carrey. Like just the way his body is moving. He's a physical comedian. He's able to kind of move around in a funny way. I even though it was in the trailer, the latte joke still I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. Just the way that, and that relationship between him and his like cohort,
Dr. Stone or whatever,
a little weird. Like it's like there's almost like a respect sexual tension between the two of them, almost.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting. Just an interesting aspect to introduce.
I really loved the initial confrontation between him and Tom on his front porch or whatever.
Yeah, that was
Jim Carrey had a lot of really funny. That was the funniest part. And the best comedy writing in the movie in that part right there.
Well, yeah, because it's one of the only moments in the movie where two human characters have written dialogue with each other. Otherwise than that, it's Tom Wachowski and Sonic the goddamn Hedgehog talking to each other in the truck.
It just kind of seemed like they were riffing. Like James,
like maybe there was a little bit of improv.
Two seasoned actors just going at it, and James Martin just going after him. Like,
oh,
you would know, if you lived in this small town that he's actually an electrician instead of a gas worker.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, but the Olive Garden bit came right after that, right? Where it was like, I wrote Olive Garden down in my notes because I was just so shook at the moment. But how did it even come into play at the beginning?
He was talking to his girlfriend/wife on the phone, I think.
About the apps on his phone.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
He was like,
except for Olive Garden. It's where everybody feels like family. And it was literally an Olive Garden ad.
What the hell?
Oh, it was so bad.
I can't believe that. Oh man! Of all the things that I was expecting from Sonic the Hedgehog, product placement was not one of them.
Strange product placement too.
Yeah,
like Olive Garden and Zillow. What the fuck? Where did Zillow come? Because they were filming in San Francisco?
I guess. I don't know. Of all the... it's like Sonic the Hedgehog, product placement. Okay, video game consoles?
Yeah.
Maybe like some kind of electronic device?
Who knows, dude?
Maybe a fast car?
Yeah.
I mean,
there were no fast cars.
There was a truck. There was a truck.
Toyota Tacoma, like an 05 Tacoma.
A 4x4 was the main vehicle that they drive. But it's like... Yeah, Olive Garden and Zillow. That's one thing I'll never get out of. Also, there was a breastfeeding joke in there.
Which was awesome.
Somewhere.
Yes. It was... He's like... I was I was spitting out formulas while you were still spitting out formula. Great wordplay.
Yeah.
And then Marsden's character said, "Oh, I was breastfed." And Jim Carrey says, "Way to rub that in my orphan face."
Orphan face.
And it was so fun.
That's a good line.
That whole exchange. I was spitting out formulas while you were still spitting out formulas. Like, oh shit. Robotnik's got bars.
Yeah.
And that whole exchange is so fun. That is the joke that sealed it for me, because way to rub that in my orphan face. So funny, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the writing was funny and clever, but then other times it was Sonic making a fart joke at the hotel.
Lightning came out of my butt.
Yeah, and then he's like, make sure you check your fur for brown or whatever. And he said that, and I was like, you guys like, ugh.
You may want to check your fur for that one, because after it farted,
I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes it can be really clever, and other times it's like he's flossing.
we have to remember this is a movie made for kids.
Yeah.
We're fully grown adults watching a children's movie.
Right, but even in something like a Toy Story, which is like a thing made for adults and kids, like most Pixar movies are, they don't jump between both extreme ends of the spectrum, right? They kind of ride the middle line where it's like you can infer adult humor. They don't outright just do adult humor.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so that's where
I don't
movies
think
like
fart jokes are adult humor. I think that those fart jokes and like the lightning coming out of my butt were made for like 10-year-old kids.
Yeah, I guess. But as a 10-year-old kid, I don't know if James Marsden saying "check your fur" for that one is going to make me giggle.
That's
that seems.
true.
Oh, the breastfeeding joke.
The breastfeeding joke and the check your fur for that one were probably more geared towards adults, but a lot of like the fart jokes, like Sonic farting, is like geared towards kids.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then Marsden's line was for goofy dad.
Yeah,
who said, "Or you might want to check your undies after that."
Right. And you can hear like the adults in the theater go yuck, 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 yuck. Yeah. But it's like, also, can we talk about our theater situation for a second?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank God that I didn't care super much about this movie and wanted to go in as like more of an experience, because holy fuck, there were some annoying ass kids.
There was a crying baby before the opening credits.
Right before the opening credits.
Zach is gonna lose his shit.
No, but here's the thing: it's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
we went into this with the expectation of, it's like people are gonna bring their kids to this thing. It's a Sunday night. People are gonna bring their kids to this fucking kids movie. I had no delusions that we were gonna have a respectful adult theater for this. So it's like, when kids are talking and making blah 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 and like talking in front of us, I'm like, you know what?
It was fine to me.
Fine, whatever.
Yeah, it was fine. We were talking too, so we can't say too much.
That's true, but
we were laughing the loudest.
We were laughing loud.
You had a cackle.
You did have a cackle towards the end of the movie. I forget what it was for.
We'll get to that. I think I wrote it down on here. I wanted to write down one of the first. So there's three main action sequences in the movie. Okay, the first action sequence is the bar scene where everything slows down and he like fucks with everybody in the bar, which I thought was cool.
Yeah,
but I also think that it was. Have either of you guys seen any of the new X-Men movies, like Days of Future Past, Apocalypse? Yeah. Have you seen Days of Future Past?
Yeah.
Okay, so the comic character Quicksilver, Kevin?
Yeah.
So in Days of Future Past, there's a scene at the Pentagon where Quicksilver is getting them out of a situation, getting the gang out of, like, Magneto and Xavier out of a sticky situation. And what happens is, like, the bunch of these Pentagon officers fire bullets, and while their bullets are in the air, Quicksilver puts on his headphones and listens to, like, a slow ballad, and time slows down, and he goes around and manipulates everything in the room so it turns out perfectly. And during the scene, I was just like, man, they ripped this straight out of that X-Men movie. And I mean, some of the gags were like clever. Like, I liked him putting the bear head over the guy and like hooking the guy's underwear to the chandelier. I thought was funny. But yeah, it was cool. But then the second action sequence is them in the car with the robots getting smaller. And then the third action sequence is San Francisco on top of the tower that transitions to the Great Wall of China, to the pyramids, then back to Green Hill Zone.
Right.
Not the most action-packed movie.
No, it kind of was very,
seen.
because the action scenes that were in there were kind of not good.
No, kind of weak.
They were weak.
They were kind of weak.
And like during the second one in the car, they were having like this very, very forced emotional moment. Like, why the fuck do you guys care so much? Like, you guys have known each other for less than 24 hours at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, and Sonic felt so betrayed. He said, like, if I don't make it, just abandon me. You seem good at that kind of thing. Like, where the fuck?
Where did this come from?
Yeah, what kind of ground do you have to stand on, dude?
Yeah, Sonic is very emotionally hyperactive, I guess, with the people that he meets.
It was just strange. It ruined the whole scene for me.
For sure. But, yeah, because I thought the concept was interesting, going from big death truck to tiny little helicopter.
Right.
But, like, there was no tension whatsoever.
No.
Because I was like, this is the middle of the movie.
Yeah. Did you guys... Okay, I might be reading too far into the film. Did you kind of get the feeling that, like, Tom might have not been able to have kids? So he was like, well, if I can't give my wife a kid, we might as well go to San Francisco and start over. And, like, Sonic might have been the kid that he'd been wanting.
Huh.
And maybe that's why the emotion... Okay, I'm reading into a kid's movie way too hard. But, like, I kind of felt that. Like, at certain points, he kind of was talking to Sonic as a kid... And Sonic kind of felt like a kid, and I don't know. Maybe, I'm reading it too far into it. But
he's married. They don't have children, but they have a niece,
right?
That they really love.
Yeah.
So I mean, that would be an interesting fan theory, but I don't think there's anything in the movie that sets that up. That's kind of what I felt
during the movie. Like, I inferred a lot, I guess, but like that's.
Oh, my alarm's going off.
It's time to wake up, Zach.
It's time to go to work. It's been a fever dream, and I've just been sleeping the whole time.
But no, that is what I felt. I guess you guys felt it was a little misplaced, but I kind of felt like he was...
Well, I didn't feel like it was misplaced.
Yeah, just because you have a theory doesn't mean it's misplaced, or we didn't catch it. I mean,
I just didn't think about it.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, like, that's an interesting... Now looking back on the movie, I guess that kind of, like, helps... Because in all these movies where, you know, a person and a person become friends and then they be, like, over a short period of time. Like, this movie takes place over the course of, like, what, 24 hours?
Yeah, like 3 days max.
Right. And by the end of it, it's like, I made a friend. And he's like, oh, a friend. And then there's, like, this big emotional climax. But it's like, you've known each other for less than a couple days. It doesn't, you know, so having that added element of him not being able to have a kid and projecting his... you know, love and affection to this hedgehog.
I love that theory, and I hope it's true.
Yeah.
We'll have to reach out to the director, Jeff Fowler, I think is his name. So.
We'll see.
Before we move on any further, I was just thinking you could reach out to, like, Sonic movie headquarters. How funny, speaking of ripping things off, that felt so much like the Marvel entrance. And this is Sonic movie's first...
The Marvel
film.
entrance?
Well, the Marvel opening scene where it shows, like, all the comic panels, and then they showed all, like, the Sega games in the panels.
Yeah.
And then it had a very, like Sonic team or whatever, where it had the Marvel movie, and it
felt very Sonic. It felt very Marvel.
Very Marvel, and I was like, are they trying to make
a
full universe here? Because I would go watch some fucking Sega movies.
Well,
give me Vector Man.
The rumor as it's been going for a while was that that Sega wanted to create more movie franchises because they have that licensing deal with Paramount, but they haven't been able to make any money off their films.
Right.
But then at the same time, adjacently, Mario Brothers and Nintendo they licensed their IP to make movies through Illumination, the same studio that does Despicable Me and the Minions.
Right.
So people have been hoping for a long time that we were going to get like a Smash Bros. Or a crossover film universe because it could possibly happen. But now we're dealing with two completely different studios.
Right.
So if Sonic wants to introduce other Sega IP and make a shared universe with that, oh, good luck.
That'd be weird.
Because I can't think of another Sega IP that could possibly get as much box office as
you're probably right.
But just, I mean, like, we'll get to it at the end, but I'm kind of looking forward to the sequel. But yeah, for the car chase sequence on the road, I wrote, how would you not notice the giant death truck behind you? Because there was one moment where
they were in a heated argument.
I guess they were in a heated argument, but behind them was a giant space truck-looking son of a bitch. If I was in that car, it doesn't matter how heated of an argument, I would have noticed space truck behind me. What did I write here? Special key to get to the roof. Oh, right!
That was some bullshit.
Yeah, there was a scene. So there's
ridiculous.
scene. They get to San Francisco and they see the giant pointy tower, which I don't even know what's that tower called in real life.
Remember.
I don't know. But anyway, Sonic gets there and he's like, they're like, how are we going to get to the top? And he goes, woo, and runs away. And the girl's like, oh, wow, he really just does that, right? He's really fast. And he comes back and he says, I think you need a special key to get to the tower. And both Dylan and I looked at each other and we were like, what in the fuck, Sonic? You've been
Nothing
running...
has stopped him to this point, but wait, we got to get access to the roof.
We got to get a key to this roof to get to the top.
Come on.
There's no way he can... We've seen him run... We see him run down the side of that same building
And
in 5 minutes.
He runs directly up the side of a pyramid, too.
Right.
So,
but this building, that's just impossible.
Yeah.
We're going to need clarification. We're going to need to get clearance to get to the top of this thing.
I think what happened there is somebody had that Jesus Christ. Woo. That bag gag.
I was thinking the same thing.
Somebody had that bag gag written at the elevator, and they're like, well, how do we get there?
How do we get them into an elevator to get to where are they going to need to go? It's like, okay,
because that scene was kind of it was forced, but it was kind of funny.
It was in the trailer,
time,
so it kind of ruined it for me.
Why not Sonic be like, hey, will you guys go with me? Like, I'm kind of nervous. That would have been funnier than being like, I can't get to the roof. Like, fuck off, Sonic. Just ask him to go with you.
Right.
At this point.
Yeah, we've seen Sonic be vulnerable the whole movie. It would have fit the character and also worked to get to the... There were so many moments in this movie where I was just like rolling my eyes like, okay, this is how we're progressing the plot.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest one.
A lot of MacGuffins.
Right. Where we could have just solved this so simply, because unless you get James Marsden and the girl to the top of the building, there's no falling scene to get to Green Hills. So it's like there's just so many. It's so convoluted to get to this. This story could have been like simpler, and I think it could have been more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I wrote the Eggman insult, which is a cool moment I didn't see coming. Yeah. I thought they were just going to call him Robotnik the whole thing, because each Sonic canon has kind of stuck to a specific name for him. But the fact that his name is Dr. Robotnik, but Sonic's nickname for him is Eggman, works in this universe. I thought that was a really cool little subtle.
Well, because he has nicknames for everybody. There's Pretzel Lady, Donut Lord,
Eggman. Yeah.
So.
Old Bessie is about to give birth, which I thought was just the dumbest shit ever.
So dumb.
He throws out a ring and sends the two of them back to Green Hill Zone, and they land in a barn, and a farmer tells them that they need to help them birth a cow?
Yeah, it's just the lowest common denominator kids movie joke. It's so stupid.
What is this doing in this movie, dude?
Yeah.
What is that joke doing in this movie? I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Is that better than Crazy Carl or no? Because I love Crazy Carl.
Carl was funny, dude.
Crazy Carl didn't overstay his welcome.
No.
And he also presented us the Sonic drawing.
The Sonic, yes. So funny,
I was
dude.
shocked to see that in this. Like,
so funny.
Of all the things that they could have done that would have... I mean, they literally put a meme in the movie.
Yeah, they did.
And that's pretty...
They did.
That's pretty ballsy.
It's great, because it rewards people that are our age that know the Sonic meme. I thought it was great. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. It was great.
Like, it wasn't, and they didn't linger on it for too long. They lingered on it just enough so that we saw it and we were like, "Oh, okay, fucking hell, yeah." Like, go ahead.
It's funny because it works on multiple levels. Because one of my favorite memes ever is the leprechaun meme and the amateur sketch of the leprechaun.
Right.
And this is also poking fun at that, where it's a really bad amateur sketch of Sonic. So it worked on a lot of levels for me. That was a great joke, great writing decision to put Sonic in there.
Yeah, I think this movie could have used a little bit more tongue in cheek.
Yeah, they should have been more in on the joke.
Yeah, more self-aware. Like, I think that Sonic the Hedgehog on Twitter is it's kind of like Wendy's social media, where they're just like in on the joke. I feel like this movie wasn't necessarily in on the joke that Sonic has always been trash.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah. In recent memory, sure.
I mean, since...
The first, 3 or 4 games are really, really good.
Right. They're
absolute classics.
They're nostalgic, and they're good, but at the same time, the Sonic brand has always kind of been,
It's been second fiddle, for sure.
Second fiddle, sure. That's a good way to put it. And so, I think it would have been funnier if they leaned into, I wanted to see the crazy batshit insane lore.
Yeah.
Like Silver, Shadow, Chaos Emeralds.
I would have much preferred there not be any humans in this, and it just be like a Sonic adventure game.
Yeah, I agree. I just think, I mean, the boardroom, to be a fly on the wall in the boardroom meetings for this, where they're like, how can we market Sonic the Hedgehog to fans and also people that don't give a shit? And it's like, okay, well, we have to have some famous actors in it, but we can't have them just be voices. We have to actually see them. So Robotnik, we'll get Jim Carrey to play Robotnik. We'll get Cyclops from the X-Men series to play this cop that hangs out with Sonic.
Yeah.
So it's just, I can see where in the boardroom where they were thinking, like, how do we make this more accessible? And obviously they made right decisions monetarily because the movie is making hand over fist cash.
Yeah.
How long do you guys think until we see a sequel?
I think they already have it done for the most part.
Done.
Seriously,
I think it's done.
I think they did this like Star Wars trilogy style, where they which one was it? No, it was Lord of the Rings, where they were doing them all concurrently. I think they probably have most of the work done on the second one. I don't think it's going to be very long. I think they're going to try and capitalize on this as quickly as possible.
I would agree with that, but I also think that they probably didn't. With something like this, with a new IP, even if it is like an old video game franchise, a new film IP, I feel like you still have to, you're taking a gamble because people could love it, people could hate it. You never know.
I mean, worst comes to worst, they could just go straight to streaming with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I don't think that's going to be the case. I do think we're going to get a Sonic. I bet it's going to be. I literally bet it's called Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah.
I bet spoilers.
Yeah.
I bet Tails and Sonic are in the majority of it.
I bet Knuckles is in it.
I bet. Well, at the rate that they're going now, they're going to save Knuckles for the post-credit scene, and
true.
then Sonic 3 will be Sonic and Knuckles.
That's true.
But they already introduced Mushroom Hill Zone, which I think is fascinating because, well. Not that the lore of Sonic is that important to the actual film.
No, it's not. It's just like, hey, we know a place called Mushroom Hill Zone exists. Let's put it in the film.
Yeah.
They got to go to, Chemical Plant, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to think of, how they could work in something like... Who's another... So if they don't... I mean, Robotnik will definitely be in number 2. But, are they going to start bringing in elements like Shadow and Chaos and,
I would honestly, if the second movie has nothing to do with the first one, I would be perfectly okay with that.
I think you got to bring back Jim Carrey. I think that's a huge marketing
Jim Carrey can still
thing
be in there, but if Tails comes in and says, Sonic, you need to come back to the original world and help us save this, and we're only in Green Hills, Montana for 5 minutes, great.
And have Jim Carrey come back for the third one. That would be great. Have him sit out one. Who cares?
I wouldn't mind that. You could have it could be like Jim Carrey's escape from Mushroom Hill Zone, and he figures out how to use rings, and he figures out where Sonic's from, and then the post credits would be Jim Carrey poking his head through the ring and being doing some Ace Ventura shit.
Most people die here. I'll be home before Christmas.
Yeah, dude, Dill, when you laughed at that, I was like, that is the worst.
I know. I don't know why I laughed. I couldn't help it.
You were just on a roll at that point.
Yeah.
Dude. You were on full Carrie boner mode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see in the second one, the beginning opens up with Tails and Sonic being reunited with each other. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see Jim Carrey finding a way out of the Mushroom Zone immediately, or finding a way to bring them back into the Mushroom Zone. And I'd like to see as little as Human World as possible.
Yeah, me too.
And as the majority of it, I would be fine with the second movie opening up with fucking Chows. And I know that's a deep ass cut, but I want them to go full Sonic.
Yeah.
But that's just personally my opinion. And then my last note I wrote on here in my Sonic notepad is, I think I meant to write Sonic as Palpatine, but I wrote Sonic as Palestine.
He's definitely not Palestinian, so Palpatine makes way more sense. Though not really.
Well, at the end he shoots lightning out of his hands like Palpatine.
Okay, that's why you looked at me.
And I wrote Sonic as Palestine. But yeah, Sonic is Palpatine. Well, he has light. Has he ever had lightning powers?
He's never had attractive powers. Well, in Sonic 3. He gets the little thing from the thing where
it all down.
He has a power up that attracts rings. So
right, that's right. He does have the bubble that attracts the rings.
So I don't know if they thought that far into it. This movie very much felt like a bunch of old fat white guys chomping on stogies. We got this IP. How do we make it?
Well, they looked at a trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog for the Genesis from 1992 or whatever, and they were like, "All right, I think we got everything we need right here."
They were at their local dentist playing on the.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell. I mean, they saved Tails miles per hour for the post-credit scene, so you can tell that someone came in at the very last second and was like, "Excuse me, sir, Sonic has a best friend that's a fox that has two tails."
You guys were in the bathroom. You didn't hear it. There was a guy in the theater with us who was legitimately breaking down big time Sonic lore and how it compared to like the different comic book timelines.
Nice. Was he sitting behind us?
I don't know. It was incredible.
Oh, amazing.
This is one of the most learned people I've ever heard speak about any one subject.
We should have invited him onto the podcast. I mean, he could have lent us some tips and tricks.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a fascinating dork.
Yeah.
Because he's a dork. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we're the anomaly here.
Yeah.
Seeing Sonic the Hedgehog a month after it came out in theaters, it took us a second.
Well, you know.
I'm happy we saw it, though.
It's 4 grown adults trying to line up schedules, which is hard enough.
Like, when are we all going to get together and go to Twin Peaks and then go see Sonic the Hedgehog?
We miss you, Tommy.
We do miss you, Tommy.
Yeah, there were some unfinished wings and fries at Twin Peaks that you could have helped smash.
I would have loved to hear a Tommy Bakary cackle during that movie.
Yeah.
Well,
him and I would have been dying together.
Here's the thing: is that we'll whether or not Tommy sees it in theaters, or we wait and we see it sometime at home, and we're all just blasted out of our minds.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to know what Tommy thinks of the movie because he was
me
excited to see it.
Yeah.
He was talking about how like, he likes Sonic, but he thought the movie was just going to be like fun and kind of mindless.
Which it was. I mean,
it is. Yeah.
Again,
I mean, like
you give it a 5 out of 10. I would give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Right. Like I
We're
wasn't.
going to go Radiovania patented.
Oh, on the on the
scale?
Radiovania patented 20-point scale, I would, like I said, 5 out of 10 at the beginning, like a 50%. Like I think the movie is like, it's pretty 50-50. For every moment that there was that I really liked, there was a moment that I thought was like a facepalm. Mm-hmm. If I had to, I might settle around the 6. Yeah, 6 out of 10 sounds just about right. But really, honestly, like walking right out of it at the very end, I was like, wanted a little bit more. Like I was really hoping that the end, like at the end credit scene, the ring opens up and Tails jumps out, and I was like, let's fucking go, doggy dog. But then I was like, bring everybody. Like I was hoping that Knuckles would jump through and Rose would jump through and Big the Cat would jump through. Yeah. I was just hoping for everything. Like just go balls to the walls. Like, cause who cares? Yeah. By that point, you've already rolled credits. You've already told your story. At least, because Sonic lore, as stupid as it, I'm wearing a Sonic the Hedgehog tie-dye t-shirt right now.
It's great. It's Sonic from the animated TV show as well.
Yeah, it's the very first animated TV Sonic, so it's extra cartoony. I don't even know where I got this. But like Sonic is kind of garbage. Like the lore is kind of garbage, and it's cheesy and very like 90s.
There's a reason like edgelords love Sonic. It's because they just went so far into the Hot Topic realm, and just it's so bad that it's comical. Yeah, I love it for that reason, because it is so bad and so cheesy, and they take themselves so fucking seriously. Yes, it's hilarious. Yes,
and I was hoping for more of that to translate, because like we said earlier, I was hoping that they would be kind of more in on the joke. Right. That there are. I get it. I totally respect you out there in Dollar Beer Nightland listening to this. If you're a total Sonic fanboy and you think that they can do no wrong and it's the best video game franchise ever,
when will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
I totally feel you, but at the same time, my personal opinion is that Sonic is hot, stinky trash. Yeah, but it's entertaining. Yeah. And so go home and watch the trailer for go watch like a trailer from the 80s or the 90s for a Sonic the Hedgehog IP, a video game, and then also go watch the opening cinematic from Sonic Adventure, where there's a giant kaiju monster taking over a city, and Sonic falls in love with a human female. Yeah. Right? Okay.
That's Sonic 06, yeah.
That's Sonic 06 too, but that's what I'm saying, is that Sonic covers so many ends of the nerd spectrum. Yeah. That I was really hoping this movie would be more of like a nod to that.
Yeah, I've been so into Sonic shit recently, like with the Snapcube fan dubs that I sent you guys. If you haven't watched those, they go through a couple of the Sonic Adventure games.
They're very funny.
They also do Sonic 06, which is like a full hour. It's like an hour and a half of cutscenes in that, and they do like a one take fan dub of it. It's really, really funny. It's a bunch of improv comics overdubbing like super edgy, stupid Sonic shit, and it's really, really funny.
But yeah, so
well, Kev, your 20-point scale?
Yeah.
6.5.
Okay.
I'll stick with that. I think that's fair. I came in, like, I knew it was going to be a kid's movie. I knew there was going to be some bad jokes. I knew there were going to be some jokes that I liked. I was pleasantly surprised by the voice acting and Jim Carrey's performance. So yeah, I came out of it okay. Like, I wouldn't see it. I wouldn't go pay money to see it again, but I'll probably watch it again when it comes out on a streaming service. Just again, honestly, just for that, like, animated, like, first credits sequence. That was really cool, where they went through all the events of the film in, like, that 16-bit rendered thing, which was pretty cool. So, yeah, I would have liked to have seen this movie done by a true Sonic lover, not a bunch of corporate people in a boardroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, 6.5.
I would say 7.5 for me.
Woo!
7.5.
Woo!
Well, you got a lot of comedy from it.
Yeah,
I did. I
You know-
laughed a lot, and I think if you're watching, I look at it through the lens after I'm done with the movie. Like, if it's a kid's movie, how many times am I going to watch this with my nephew?
Yeah,
like
sure.
with pleasure.
Yeah.
Like, and my nephew watches movies over and over and over again, and I think that's one of those ones that I could watch.
I think that's a good
And
way
get
to put
humor
it
out of.
too, Dill, is like, it's not like Paw Patrol where you're gonna fucking want to kill yourself watching it over and over again. This is something I could watch with one of my young nephews and you know, really enjoy it. I would love to sit down and watch this with my nephews actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would really like it.
Yeah. And that's kind of cool. Like, that aspect is cool, is that the Sonic lore that I know, that I grew up with, might be kind of, like, dead and buried. But, like,
Yeah.
maybe a new generation of fans could be born with something a little bit more wholesome, which is cool. Because this movie is very, like, it's got a heart to it.
Yeah.
At least it's not, like, soulless.
Yeah.
Like, it has some fucking shitty product placement
Yeah.
and very vapid lines and bad dialogue, but at least it has, like, a little bit of a heart. It kind of knows that it wants to be a little bit more than a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And to me, that speaks some volumes.
Yeah. They throw out a what the heck in there. You know, shout out to you Christian kids out there. Peace
Wait,
up.
they say what the heck?
Yeah, the wife says, what the heck?
Oh, really?
What the
She
heck
does?
is going on?
What the heck is going on? I love the ant, by the way. I thought the ant was
Yeah,
funny.
she was
Yeah.
funny. She gave some good. She was like a good, like, dry
Good
humor.
throwaway
Yeah.
kind of character who can just kind of deliver dumb lines. The Fitbit line was really
Put
funny.
on my
Yeah, that was
Fitbit so I get my
Get my
steps
steps in. I thought that if we keep going on this thing, but the little girl that is like the niece of James Marsden and the
Yeah.
girl, she like gives him the shoes that he. Where did she fucking find those shoes that fit a hedgehog? Were those her shoes? She clearly has bigger feet than this.
Here's the thing.
Little 10-year-old girl.
I agree, but who cares?
I
Because we
know.
got to see Sonic in his red
In
shoes.
his
I
reds.
liked that he had beat up old shoes.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
It was a really cool move. Like, because yeah, of course he's going to have beat up shoes because he doesn't have a way to get good shoes. So.
Again, the Sonic design conspiracy. Do you remember in the original poster where he's sitting on top of the Golden Gate Bridge?
Yeah.
He's got like those red running shoes with
Yeah.
the stripe. They look like super high realistic.
Right.
These things are like giant fucking red clogs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, again, I really hope more than this movie that I want to see again is I want to see like an hour and a half long documentary
Yes. I
about
love
the
behind the scenes
making of this
documentary,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Holy shit.
I really hope that if the Blu-ray comes out and they announce like, oh, the Target Special Edition Blu-ray has 2 hours of deleted scenes and
Oh.
bonus features, I'd be like, sign me the hell
Yeah,
up.
$24.99. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
If they release the full movie,
Yes!
the full original movie as a bonus disc, holy
Yeah.
shit, yeah, dude.
You will be seeing a Dollar Beer Night
That'd be
commentary
Absinthe
for that
and,
movie. Yeah.
Absinthe and Sonic Part
Yeah.
2.
Dude, I've had absinthe and it sucks.
I like absinthe quite a bit.
I didn't like it.
I think absinthe is really, really good.
CBD.
I had it in a
Sonic
I
Part
had
2.
it in I had it in a cocktail, and it was like not true absinthe. So my view of it is tainted. But
Tainted.
I would like true New Orleans absinthe though. Some voodoo shit.
Some
Yeah.
voodoo shit. Well,
Well, that's how you know we're at the end of the podcast.
yeah, well, if Sonic ever comes to Blu-ray and we do a Dollar Beer Night commentary, we will do some Absinthe and Sonic.
Yeah.
that
I'll do
is
some
just
ayahuasca.
about guarantee. Thank you all for joining us on this mini episode of Dollar Beer Night. If you want more of this and you like this, we'll be live soon with the Dillon Hayden hosted episode of the show.
Oh, Dill, you want to update?
Yeah, it's not going to be about dreams anymore. We're going to update. We're going to update to red wine rom-coms. So I know you guys been waiting for your dream podcast, but we're updating.
Yeah.
We're changing with the times.
And it'll be a good show. I'm sure Dillon's got nothing but quality lined up to hit us with.
For sure.
Dillon, where can people find you on the internet?
Young Diesel 16 on Instagram.
Okay.
I did follow it. It's
Good.
Great follow.
Yeah. Diesel is a phonogenic little boy. I can't wait to get home to him. Kev, Kid Carter 79.
K Carter 79 on all social medias. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I was trying to think of something else, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And you can follow me at Zach Rotello on all the social media platforms. Follow us at Dollar Beer Night on Instagram, Dollar Beer Pod on Twitter, Dollar Beer Night Show at gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or topic suggestions, or if you have any thoughts about Sonic the Hedgehog. If you saw it a couple weeks ago, maybe you saw it now, maybe you're catching up on it later, we would love to know what you thought about the movie.
And maybe we'll put up a Twitter poll or an Instagram poll or something like that.
Yeah.
And follow at Twin Peaks, whether it's the HBO show or the restaurant. Follow them both. They're both great.
Twin Peaks, not an HBO show.
Showtime.
Well, the new one was Showtime, but originally it aired on like fucking USA or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Follow the USA TV show Twin Peaks on Instagram at Twin Peaks.
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure if that's the social media. Thank you all for listening very, very much, and we will talk to you soon. But until then, gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. Y'all are fogging up my windows.